Well, I can tell you one thing. I haven't had to do this in quite some time, but we got the old trusty 2018 out, and looks like she's back to work and not for sale unless somebody really wants it that bad. Well, this is definitely a little different. Out in the 2018.
In half a mile. At the
Let's go do some trucking in the 2018. See how I like driving something that's not a dinosaur. Oh lordy, what do we got going on? Single cab is out and about, and we're playing in the mud. Oh man, we're here at Copart, Pennsburg. I'm picking up that van right now. They won't pick it up, so go ahead and get our ramps flipped and get this thing loaded up. It runs and drives, so no problem. Help, the places we get into sometimes is a little interesting, but I'm supposed to be meeting in a... Well, we're back in here. Found somebody that knows what's going on. Apparently got 3 pallets coming out of this warehouse that's going down to Miami with me. Since I'm running snowbirds back from Florida, I gotta get something to get me down there. We're taking the open trailer again. Doesn't need to be enclosed, so let's see what these guys got for me. Well, what do you do when the broker says it's 4,500 pounds? They set this one on. I thought it was a little heavy. Then they set this one on, and 3 pieces with this number. It came from off a cargo ship. Those numbers match these. 9,833 pounds for these 2. And we unload it right back off the trailer. Well, that's not entirely true. It's gonna end up going with us. I gonna use this trailer tomorrow, and I'm in. So this stuff goes all the way from Delaware to Florida, and it's double the weight. So I told the broker, he was like, well, what do you think's fair? I was like, well, double the weight, double the rate, right? He goes, well, I'll negotiate with him. I said, well, I appreciate it. And the broker, he didn't know. It's the end user. So what happened was they set that on the trailer, and I was like, man, that seems more than, it would have been like 1,500 pounds per stack. And I was like, that seems a little heavy. So when he set that second one down and I saw the weight, I knew it was too heavy. So if you're ever in a situation like that, I went to the CAT scale, got a scale ticket, and with my subtractions, I was right. Somewhere between 97 to 9,900 pounds. So those stacks were probably 3,300 pounds a piece. So we unloaded them here at my father-in-law's, and I'm gonna use this trailer tomorrow, which is Saturday, and then I will come back on Sunday and load them back up. But I told the broker I'm not making any forward progress towards Florida until I get an updated rate con and we get some type of negotiation done. All right, well, we're in the single cab. Trying to hold this mount still. This road is pretty rough in the far right lane. But running the single cab with 2 cars up here to my customer in Western Maryland, and just kind of playing catch up. Got a check engine light that popped on the single cab, low rail pressure. This thing's been sitting for so long, it's gonna need fuel filters. The reason I haven't done it yet is I order all my filters and kits and stuff through Doc's Diesel. They got the best prices, everything's really good quality, and everything's always right, which I appreciate. So I ordered a kit for this. It's a oil filter, fuel filters.
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
Thanks. And and air filter. So we're going to do a service on this next week when we get back from Florida, because it's just going to sit until then, and I'll probably put about 800 or so miles on it since I started using it again this week. So good way to make sure she's running all right. Now granted, this isn't an easy ride out here through Western Maryland, but 7 miles to the gallon, yikes. So one good thing about this truck averaging 8.8 miles to the gallon, got this underage driver here, but that's besides the point, is that I've got this 60-gallon Titan auxiliary fuel tank. Now this is not gravity fed. It's got an inline fuel filter here, which runs down the frame all the way back. We've got a 12-volt pump right here, as you can see, mounted to the frame. Now it runs all the way back into this T on the fuel filter and adds a fuel in through the filler neck. Now with this thing being about 60 gallons and the main tank, I can hold almost 100 gallons of fuel. So if I'm getting 7-8 miles a gallon when I'm pulling this trailer, you know, I can make sure I can get a whole day's worth of fuel in the morning and be able to run all day and not have to worry about stopping where I can get fuel. So although it is filtered through the truck, I still keep this inline fuel filter on it. Sometimes I pop that line off if I have to get diesel for something. Maybe I'm somewhere picking up a tractor, it doesn't have enough diesel. I'll pop this up, put it in my jug. That way I can fill a piece of equipment up. Well, what's it like being an owner-operator on a Sunday morning sitting outside Napa waiting for them to open? Got my best... Okay, don't stick your fingers down your throat. Silly. This is waiting for Napa to open. Got this guy kind of beat us here this morning. That's because we had to stop and okay, I'm trying to make a video here. I had to stop and get Duncan and in the wife's ride. Trying to get this truck back together, get the 7.3 back together, and test out those wheels and tires today, because we got a hook to the trailer and get loaded back up. Gonna put those 3 pallets back on the trailer today and really get ready. Everything strapped down, get the truck packed, because we're gonna roll out probably about 4 a.m. or so to get down to Florida. Well, made it back down here to get this load picked up. Roughly 9,000 pounds sitting there. Moved it back a little bit from where we had it before. Still got those double stacked because I still got room back there. Put 3 straps on it this time, but you can see where the brake is and the rub rail. This one's not as boxed as nicely as the others, and it's exposed. Now, they say this isn't real wood, it's like PVC wood. A buddy was just here, and it's like fake wood. So I guess if it gets wet, it doesn't matter. And that wasn't, they didn't ask for this to be tarped or anything, so moved it back a little bit so we still have room back there. Take a little tongue weight off of it. I was about 180 pounds over on the rear end. So, I mean, I moved it back 2-3 feet there, so that's more than your 180 pounds. I got her strapped down. We'll get up out of here and enjoy the rest of our Sunday. Now, I'm not planning on taking the single cab all the way to Miami, but I'm taking the 7.3. I just had this still hooked. We'll get the house, swap everything around. Just had some help here this afternoon to put the load back on the trailer. Brother-in-law was nice enough to come over and help me. I got grease on me. So, get loaded up with the second piece, which I think is a van or something, tomorrow morning. But I'm not on the road. Somebody's yelling at me for videoing and driving. on TikTok. I'm like, man, I'm in a dirt lot that's owned by my family. So I'm gonna get turned around, get out of here, and we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. I don't think we've got any big news other than I got the wheels put on the 7.3. They look good. Got the rears, so we're gonna run just the rears. And still 16s on the front till our fronts come in. When I ordered them, I had got a message from the guy and he said he didn't have all 6 he needed to get the fronts. And I said, well, I need to get tires on my truck on the rear. So if you could at least send me the rears, that way I can, instead of spending money on tires I'm not going to use for very long, I can just put the 19.5s on. So that's what he did. And then he goes, you know, we sell tires too. I was like, well, give me a price. And he ended up selling me tires too. So I gotta hop out here. My front box is still open. It don't matter, I'm just going 5 miles up the road. So if nothing else, maybe I'll show you the truck tonight. If not, I'll catch up with you guys early tomorrow morning, because we're gonna roll out about 4, because Odessa, DC, where we're picking up, they're open. I think they're back to being open 24/7. So I'll be there about 6 a.m. or so after getting fuel and whatnot. So I will enjoy the rest of my Sunday with the family, and I will see you guys either later tonight or tomorrow. Well, this is not how I really saw this trip going. Good thing we got this single cab running. Good thing she's gonna be going all the way to Florida. So I test drove the 7.3 yesterday. Everything was fine. Went and checked the lug nuts for those new 19.5s, and had a broken stud. Well, so I started doing a little more checking. I had multiple broken stubs and the wheel was coming off. So I don't know. I did everything that Vision said. I don't know if those studs were just compromised. It was just on the right side. The left side's fine. So instead of trying to risk it and fix it real quick, I'm getting it towed home. My buddy owns a tow company. He's gonna grab it for me. And my wife came and picked me up in her truck. I hooked the trailer to her truck, brought it back to the house to where the single cab was. And I'm just gonna hop in the single cab and boogie down to Florida and just have to hotel it for the next couple nights, which is okay. It is what it is, man. It's I was just pulling into the lot here to get hooked up. I you know, a little discouraged, a little upset. This was real excited to get the seatbelt chime off. I was real excited to run that truck, and it's really nice, you know, having a bed and everything, but duty calls, man. Gotta do what I gotta do. I know that seatbelt charm's annoying. So I'm just gonna hook up to the trailer, and I was real close to picking up my vehicle, so I'm gonna turn around and go back that way. But it is what it is, man. Gotta roll with the punches. So I'm just thankful it happened close to home. And I don't really know what happened. I don't know if they were, I wouldn't think I would have over tightened them, because I torqued them after the fact. And I ran them in with the impact and then didn't really tighten them, and then hand torqued them. So I don't, we'll figure it out. That's for another video now, because we got to unhook this trailer from my wife's truck and then hook up the single cab and get moving, because we are hours behind schedule now. Yep, that's hail hitting us. I don't know if you can see it bouncing off the hood in the video. There's still some pieces sitting up there on the hood. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Oh, what a day. If you could, go ahead, subscribe to the channel and hit the thumbs up, because I need the help after I tell you this story. So, told you I had issues with the lug studs. I left the truck on the side of the road. Called my tow truck buddy. Was like, hey, can you get it for me? He's like, yeah, sure. Wrapping up things here. I'll go down and get it. Cool. Left the key in the bed and just loaded up. And he lives close to my parents. I was like, just take it to my parents' house, drop it off there. I'll worry about it then. Let me know what I owe you. I'll pay you cash. Bada bing, bada boom. Good friend of mine. Always hooks me up. Always takes care of my family. Tows all our vehicles. Very fair. Great guy. One of my good friends. You could call him at any time. If you needed a tow, you needed cash for bail, you gotta fight somebody, he'll be there. And he would say, we might get our asses whooped, but at least we're gonna do it together. So, that's what kind of friend he is. So anyways, remind you, I have to go back to the auction. I drive, I'm like, huh, my truck's not where I left it. So I call and I'm like, hey, who do you guys have contracted for towing? I was headed back down to get my vehicle that was broke down and I don't see it. Like, well, call this number. So I call this number. She barely speaks English. Call the next number. We didn't pick it up. I'm like, you have any idea of who else could have? They're like, call this number. They should be able to tell you who was dispatched to pick it up. So, mind you, it wasn't in the roadway or anything. I had left a note in it that said, coming back, getting towed, coming back to tow today or something. Left it sitting on the dash. So I call around and I finally find out where it is. So I call the guy and I'm like, hey, you know, I think you might have towed my truck. I'm not sure. He said, well, we got called by the state police about it being there. I was like, I guess I understand that. I was like, is there like a time? Like, I figured maybe like, you know, over 24 hours or something, they would, you know, want to move it. Because no, they just called and said it was there, so we came and got it. I said, okay. I was like, well, what do I owe you? And I know how far they are from where it was, so I was expecting a certain number. I'll tell you the number I was expecting, somewhere around $400, which it was a 4-mile tow. I was like, $1,042. I'm like, are you sure you're talking to the right guy? For what? Oh, well, we had to send a second truck out there because the wheel was loose on it. And I'm like, you had to send a second truck to load it? Yep. The extra truck was $500. The first truck was only $300, which doesn't make sense to me. Anyways, I was like, all right, well, you know, it is what it is. And I, you know, I kind of went back and forth with him. I'm like, it's kind of a shame. It's kind of predatory that within 2 hours of that being there on the side of the road, you had picked it up because the police called you. You know, maybe they did. They're just doing their job, whatever. I get it. I get it. They're in the business to make money too. They have a lot of expensive equipment. I get it. But $1,042. Now, I wouldn't be as upset if I called them to tow that. I was calling my buddy who was getting ready to finish up what he was doing to go down and get it. Anyways, I'm like, okay, I'll just, you know, pay you over the phone. I'll have him come get it. He goes, well, you got to come show you're the registered owner. I was like, okay, well, I'm leaving to go to Florida. I said, all right, you know what? I'll cancel what I'm doing right this second. I'm going to drive over to you. I'm going to pay the bill, and he's going to come down and get it. So I get there, and I'm like talking to the guy. I'm like, you know, it's kind of a shame, you know, like in reality, we're both in the transport business, and I feel like I'm just getting a shaft. He didn't say a word. I don't know. I know how it is. If I would like help somebody that was in the same industry, I'm not gonna shaft them. So I told them that my buddy was coming to get it, and he's on his way. how this is gonna turn out. Obviously it's gonna take me till probably this weekend to get a look at it. You know, I have pretty good mechanical knowledge. You know, I've torn engines apart, I've put engines back together, I've taken transmissions out, put transmissions back in, I haven't messed with internals of transmissions, I've been around people that do it. If I don't know something, I know I can call somebody. I went through step by step of what they asked for with the lug nuts, the studs, the torquing, everything. The checking, and for that to happen, and I had just checked the torque on them about 10 miles before it happened. I'm like, I'm baffled. So it ruined one wheel. So I'm gonna have to get another wheel, which is what it is. So I don't know how all that's gonna play out. I know how it's gonna come out. I'm just saying that it's just gonna all be on me. And that's fine. It is what it is. It's cost of doing business. I'm just kind of in a mood because I feel like I was kind of shafted, but what goes around comes around, and you know, better hope none of those guys need help up in our area, because guess what's gonna happen? I'll get my money back. So I'm just a little salty, but I think I have the right to be. It is what it is. I just gotta go out. I just have had quite a bad streak, a bad luck streak. And I've been really just, like, with those wheels, I knew I was just being careful, and I was like, step by step by step by step, how they wanted it done, what they recommended, and how many, like, I even went to look up to like the stud length and how many turns, like because the stud can't be too long.
Use the right lane to exit right to State Road 123, Ox Road.
They can't be too long for these lug nuts, but they have to be long enough. And I even went to the point of looking up how many turns they had to have on that size stud to be fully, you know, tightened and at the capacity what they're supposed to be. So, I don't know. I'm at this point just talking to myself, trying to calm down. The bill's paid, it's done. I will continue my way to Florida now. Just about 8 hours behind. Here I am doing my part to save the planet. This has got to be the world's slowest DEF pump.